Well, hello, Amy Johnson.
Hello, Jamie Lyon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank
I
you.
always kind of do a little dance move, don't I, in the beginning of our time?
Because it's good to connect. I love
Good.
that.
So good to see you and welcome everybody.
Yes,
Thank you
hello,
so much
everyone.
for being with us and tuning in and loving having you here. Wish we could see you in person.
That's right.
So
We
we
can just say
are,
that over and over and over. That's just true, true,
I
true.
know, it's how we feel.
We need people.
So our real life positivity series is continuing. We are on episode 9 already. So
Mhm.
cool.
So fun.
So our topic today is choosing people over process. Woo.
Did you just say not worrying about the process?
Well,
No, you didn't say
I
that.
I was like, no, I
You
didn't.
said
I was I was like,
people
I said
over
people.
process. I tricked you. I'm so
No,
sorry. I
that's
didn't.
okay. I was like, did I said people over
No, you
process.
said it right. No, but I think there's a lot of people who hear us say that,
Yes.
and that's something we say a lot, and who think that what we're saying is don't worry about the process. And that is so not what you said.
Yeah, it isn't. And
Yeah. Sorry to trick you.
no, I like being tricked. I really was like, I had to think about that. I don't love being tricked, but I'm
Yeah.
okay with being intrigued. How about that?
There you go.
There you
Yes.
go. And I think the reason why we wanted to bring it up is it is how we have lived, and especially in our partnership and our entrepreneuring, it's just how we've tried to maintain that it's about our audience and it's about like taking care of our needs and just what that feels like versus like exactly how it's going to function and exactly how it's going to work. And just celebrating that and then looking at our current time and all these brand new things
Mhm.
and new processes being developed, and there's just so many ways we can kind of look at this, and we've mentioned it in a prior episode, but I think it kind of ties in a lot of our episodes.
It does. It kind of stands on its own as its own thing that needs to be unpacked because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily something that can be understood on the surface.
Speaking of
When
people over process, I have some.
something tickling your face. Did you get it?
Sorry
Yeah.
everybody. Oh, I got it.
Okay, good. It's a lip gloss problem.
I'm back. Yeah, I just had it. Yeah, I'm good.
No, so I think when we say it, we hopefully say it in a context that's making sense to whoever we're talking to, and honoring the whole person and their whole process,
For sure.
and maybe looking at it a little bit in a little bit deeper way over a few minutes today might help us to connect the dots for somebody who hasn't thought of it this way before.
Yeah,
Because
exciting.
really, we are very process oriented. And so it's interesting that you and I would be saying people over process.
For sure.
I almost think of it as a gift
Mm.
that we get to have because we are such people of excellence and we are so careful with that process. We do all this back end work
Mm.
to make sure that we can serve the best we can. And then there's
Absolutely.
a point where the gift comes in. And the gift is, okay, we've done everything we can here, and now it's about connecting with people.
Mm.
And because we are so prepared, because we've done that back end process work,
Yeah.
we are in a place where we can say, okay, now let's make sure that we're focusing on people. Probably one thing that I didn't say that I guess I would wonder if you agree with this. While we're doing the process, we're very people minded. So we're trying to figure out, does this process resonate? Is this going to go smoothly for people? Is this going to be hard for people? So I think a lot of teachers can relate to that, and probably
Absolutely.
a lot of parents too.
And I think we kind of lean into our intuition there and just kind of are able to feel where that needs to go.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have such a strong framework and we've built the foundation of the content. So when we're in it, we can just kind of feel what the people need and have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But I kind of want to look at that right now and like currently, although there's foundations in a lot of ways as far as like maybe the person like that's maybe developing the process,
Yeah.
there's so many new processes happening that have never been practiced perhaps, or it's just there's so many unknown variables. So I think that is what was intriguing for you and I to kind of have this conversation today, especially relating it to now. And I just thinking about all the scenarios, like a lot of schools are ending. They are not a lot. Schools are ending, unless maybe you're just naturally homeschooled. But thinking about those pickup lines and getting all of that, the books and the materials checked in or checked out, and oh my goodness, and live events happening through organizations and schools, and just even in people and meetings, like everything is, even though we've been kind of quarantined and home, like, there's still just continuing to be all this new. So
Yes.
how would you propose people lean into this philosophy with a brand new process that they've just developed or working with other people?
Hmm.
What are you thinking would be a great way to like kind of unpack that?
So like are you saying like if it's maybe something I haven't done before, like I've never driven as a parent through the pickup line to return library books and get a yearbook from a different station
Yeah,
and
based off your alphabetical order, and
yeah,
we're
and
like,
like I've read the email
right.
and I think I understand how it's going to go.
Mhm.
So are you saying like how will I approach that? Or
Yeah,
how?
how will you approach it as somebody entering into a new process that's been developed that you're trying, that you're just going to be doing? And
Yeah.
then how would you suggest the people implementing that process
Yeah.
handle it?
I think what speaks to me is first the intentionality. So I think there is something for understanding the process that's being laid out. So I did get the emails, I did read them, and I'm going to do my very best to
Mhm.
understand that. I've checked with my kids to see what parts and pieces they have, and
Right.
so being prepared is probably, and that's a personality thing probably, but that's my personality is I want to kind of know what that frame is that's being proposed
I
so that
love
I
that.
can show up the best that I can.
Well, and that's what you said about like our programming. So that's a
Yeah.
trait for you. Like if you feel prepared
Yeah.
and you have everything you can that you know of ready, then you
Yeah.
can go into it and then you can really
Yeah.
make it about people and not necessarily the process.
And so I think probably without haven't put like words to this necessarily in this context, but part of what makes me want to be prepared is to honor the people who
Sure.
have, I want to make sure that the people who've set up this frame have it go as well as they have intended it to. They've put a ton
Right.
of effort into it. So I want to
I
honor
love
that.
that. Yeah, that's a great perspective.
I really do. And I want to honor my kids. I want to make it for my kids. I want to make it um, as intentional as possible. As a parent, what came into my mind quick was we've had lots of conversations with people about lawnmower parents or helicopter parents or whatever.
Right.
I've never really felt like as a parent that I want to make it as easy as possible for my kids in that I don't want to just blaze the trail for them because I love pioneering and I want them to feel confident trying and failing and figuring out and
Sure.
building that confidence. So it's not really that I'm motivated to enter into that process to make it easy as much as intentional. And so
Mhm.
where there's learning opportunities and where there's growth and where there's I want to be able to be present so that that can unfold naturally. And I am not even sure that I don't know what the skill set is there. It's just that's my intentionality. So I just want to be really intentional and really prepared. And then here's like just me talking, but I look at it no different than picking up this stuff at the end of next week or during next week. No different than going to LaGuardia at 6 o'clock in the morning or LAX. Like I really
Sure.
truly,
You could
uh,
lay that philosophy over
yeah,
any situation.
yeah. There are too many variables outside of my control for me to expect it to go
Sure.
any certain way. And so it will be easier for me to put people over process, to continue to be kind, to
Mhm.
continue to try to see where people are coming from, to be gracious and to trust it's all going to work out if I go into it with that mindset that says, we're gonna just be doing our best here, and everybody's got a story, and we're gonna proceed. So
I love
there's
that.
like three things: my intentionality, preparedness, and then I don't know what we call that third thing. Maybe
Well, just being
grace.
present. Did you
Yeah,
say
I said grace, but it's
grace? Yeah.
yeah, just knowing that everybody's trying the best they can.
Grace
Yeah,
is perfect there because really that being present kind of comes with your intentionality, just being,
yeah.
yeah.
How
I
what
love
would you
that.
say? Because you're getting ready to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, I definitely mimic everything you said. And then um, I think what I would do is just make it an absolute joyful experience. I'm going to make it fun, and if something doesn't go maybe exactly how I had in my mind, or because I do like a plan, I like to be, like you were saying, I like those things too. But I think maybe that just comes with that grace. So it may be extending that to the fourth thing being, and just have fun with it,
Yeah,
laugh about it. Or if you're waiting in line and it's forever, what an opportunity to engage with your kids outside of the house in the car, or put some fun music on. Or I think just making it a fun experience. And I can relate that to our trainings. Or if I do have a flight delayed, then I'm like, okay, cool. Look at this person next to me. I'll probably take this time to get to know them, and I'm probably meant to chat with them for a little bit. I just think there's opportunities within processes going different ways.
yeah.
So just kind of capitalizing on that and making sure you're just kind of having fun with it. So
So here's something that I hope it doesn't like segue into a whole nother episode, but
it might.
here's something I really want to say about that. I love fun, and I love having fun, and I love being present in that. When something is new for me, I have a tendency to get serious about it.
Mm,
Excuse me, before I look for having fun. And
gotcha.
when I look at your partnership with, I mean, our partnership, but my time with you, you counterbalance that seriousness in me and remind me to have fun, which is a huge priority for me. And
Sure.
actually, if I'm just serious and I forget to have fun, I will feel it really fast. It will drain me, but it doesn't always seem like a proactive survival skill to me until it's too late. And so I love how you bring that joy into our work and into our partnership,
Well,
and
thanks.
into every live event, especially like assemblies. Like my brain is trying to see how it's going to work. And you're like, okay, but are we having fun? If we're not having fun, there's no reason for it to work. And I love that. And the reason I bring it up is that when I think about people over process and why this is so important, so often there is maybe a disconnect or a conflict
Mm,
between adults when they don't see eye to eye on this.
yeah,
So I think about teachers. You might have a team of teachers, and some are serious process, and some are serious creative, serious fun. And they're trying to respect each other and collaborate, but it feels disconnected, like this person's not seeing where I'm coming from.
I think that's really valid. And I think we can, I guess my quick instinct and my thought to interject there is to go with discovery.
Ah,
Ask some questions if you're feeling disconnected. Like, I'm hearing you. You kind of seem laid back about this. I'm feeling a little nervous about it. Or so I think it requires vulnerability and discovery,
yeah.
probably. And I know we have learned that with our dynamic, because that's why I said I mimic what you said, because I very much need to be prepared. I crave that too. I'm professional. I want to be respectful. I want to know the expectations. Once all that foundation has been laid, though, even if it's new, I'm just like, okay, let's just go. But if
Yeah.
there's not communication, like you're saying, maybe with those groups of teachers and like that group dynamic, I think that's where you can start making up things in your mind, and you can go, you're wandering, or if you're leaning into your perfectionism, kind of like what we've already talked about, Or have you been taking care of yourself? Like there's so many layers within that like group context that you just mentioned that we, like you said, that could be, all other episodes, but
tying it back into people over perfection, I think what I hear you saying is, if you're in a moment where it feels overwhelming for whatever reason, you're not
sure,
connected or the
sure.
variables are out of control or whatever, getting curious and
Mhm.
asking people, how are you doing? What do you need here? What do you think we should do here? and really seeing people,
For sure.
because really I think what happens there, where I was trying to find a word for that disconnect, if somebody feels like they're really working their butt off
Yeah,
to make something happen and nobody's seeing them, they will turn into a dragon.
for sure.
And I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, because we reference that book every once in a while, but
know.
turn into this big thing that needs to be noticed.
Mhm.
What is going on with my throat? You had a little tickle
I
in your
know.
face, something in my throat.
We're all about, what do you need right now? Would you like to get a
I
drink?
need a drink. Here we go. Here we go.
No, I hear you. And I guess I'd like to even kind of wind that back a little bit more. And what do you need? How are you feeling? And then I think just like our philosophy is, if you can notice that goodness in yourself, then you're really able to show up and truly notice that goodness in other people. And so
So
when we
good.
talk about people over process, that's really in a summary what we're saying, right? Are you prepared? What do you have, what you need that makes you feel good going into a situation that is process heavy? We respect the process. It's needed. We get it. Love that. But then once you're in that situation, what can you do to ripple out goodness and make it healthy and effective and awesome for yourself and everybody around you? Woo,
So powerful.
so
I
good.
think in the last episode, we were talking about what would cultural change look like if everybody could show up confidently.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we have the capacity to be so different as people. And so, thinking through, let's just like imagine the pickup line, and it's moving, and there's it looks like for our elementary school, there's like about 90 kids, 75 to 90 kids coming in an hour.
Okay.
An hour block. Okay. And so there's a normal car route that people are comfortable with for car riders, but there's a lot of people whose kids have ridden the bus every day or been walkers and they've never done the car rider line. So there's a map. Hopefully, that makes sense. Excuse me again. And then there's going to be stations, and there's places to pick up, and there's things to drop off.
Right.
Okay. There's the word picture.
That sounds very similar actually to the middle school.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think not that different from the high school, a little bigger and more
Right.
people, but okay. So imagining that happening, what a difference it would be if you could just like have, if each car was colored, whether someone was sitting in a confident space, a
Oh,
self-destructive space, or an arrogant space. Or for that matter, each teacher was wearing a t-shirt indicating what space they were in. And just like I say in training, I think, we should scan want to, and the kids who don't want to should come in the other door with the teachers who don't want to. Well, I kind of feel like it would be really cool.
yeah, to see who kind of is sitting in that space. But I think what's hard about that is you might feel like you're solid. You got your yellow on, you're feeling confident, right? Like our sunshine logo.
Yeah.
But then something's not within your
Something triggers.
control and you
Yeah.
can easily go to and kind of dip into self-destruction mode.
Yeah. Or arrogance, if that's yeah.
Absolutely.
So thinking through that, can you tell me, like, I don't know if I set it up enough, but can you tell me, let's say that you pull up and you're going to pick up your bag and they don't have your kid's bag there of their stuff. What do you think it looks like in self-destructive? If someone's sitting in a self-destructive space and that happens?
Oh, self-destructive is like, then I didn't tell them about the bag. Oh my gosh, I bet that's my fault. Maybe there's some communication that I didn't do, or maybe I didn't read all the emails well enough, or oh my gosh, I bet if I did, that teacher or that administrator didn't even care or see my stuff or know that it's there.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree? So
Yeah.
it's just kind of a negative
Yeah.
downward spiral of thought processes. And it's not only an internal dialogue that you're having, but unfortunately you're probably saying it out loud. And then maybe your kids are hearing that too, like in the car, like how contagious that is.
What would you say an arrogant response to the same situation would be?
I guess I go immediately to like rearing up, like frustrated, like, gosh dang it, if I was organizing this, this would not be happening.
Oh,
My
yeah.
stuff would be right here and this would be way more organized. I can't believe they have, well, why wouldn't I, if my last name is with a W, but I should be up there with the A's. This is ridiculous.
Mm.
Right? Like you're kind of just like blaming silly things and but it's easy to go there because why, for both of those scenarios, you're not feeling very strong or secure in the process. So it feels scary, right? So then you feel insecure. So that's why you're either going into destructive mode, or you're feeling better than like arrogant just because you don't feel good about it.
Yeah, totally. And then what do you think confident looks like? So they don't have your kid's bag and you've waited in line for an hour and
Confidence looks like the grace that you mentioned. I immediately went to, oh my goodness, I can't imagine what all these sweet educators have been doing and are doing. We'll get the bag later. It's just a bag. It probably, I'm thinking of my sweet kids, or Liam, my son. It probably has like stinky gym clothes in it anyway. I don't want the bag. Do I need the
thank you.
bag? Oh, Liam. Love him. But
Yeah.
I would just be really flexible in the situation. I would feel that grace kicking in,
Okay,
and
but let me up the ante. His beats are in there. He left his
something
beats
that's
in his locker.
needed. So then I would probably, for me personally, just go into problem solving mode with that. I'm going to say this situation is a lot for everybody involved. So then I will just most likely try to communicate with the school later and have some conversations about that, because then that's another situation with not within our control. So I would just try to be flexible in it and take steps towards getting what I would like to happen, which is getting my bag back for my kiddo.
So I think that's important. And as we wrap up, I think when we're looking at people over process, the reason we talk about confidence and tie it in is that there is a skill set that we teach that can help reinforce that in the moment. So
Yeah.
in that moment, if you go through that cycle real quick, what do I want here? I want to get this bag back. And I want this to be good for everyone.
Yeah.
So you've got your attitude set, and you know that I want positivity here,
Yeah.
positive outcome. And then what do I know for sure about me? I know that I am tenacious. I know that I am a very supportive mama. I will get my kid his stuff. I also
Impatient.
know that I'm patient and I am
Yep.
kind
Yep.
and I'm a good problem solver. We got this.
Love that.
Instead of reeling, nobody ever remembers me. I'm not important. Everything I try doesn't work. Or this is BS. I've done all this stuff for all these people and they don't, no, actually, what do you know for sure?
Yep.
That database is fortified. You've got a tool there. And then once you can notice the goodness here, you can give it out. And
Love
so
it.
you're saying to that person, gosh, I'm watching all this. Can't even imagine how many hours you've put in to this process. Obviously it's not perfect, but thank you for your kindness, or thank you for whatever goodness you can see in that
Yep.
person.
Notice something good about that person or that situation. It,
Yes.
it truly does diffuse the frustration that you may be feeling, for sure.
Yeah. And it's there. It's not like you're making it up. There's always good and bad there. It's just what
Sure.
are we choosing to focus on? Where's
Yeah.
that
What are you
momentum going to
focusing
go?
on? Mm-hmm.
And then because we believe it so much, we know that's going to come back one way or the other.
Sure.
even if, I mean, we've been told by administrators that there's going to be some staff that's just there cheering kids on, just there to
Yeah,
wave and hold signs. And so just, even if that goodness is what's coming back to your car, being able to receive that, being grateful for that and saying
for
thank you.
sure.
And then knowing that you're making an impact. So we say, be the rock in your ripple. That
Mhm.
first ripple for me as a mom, and I know for you, Jamie, this is true too, is happening in my car.
Sure.
My kids are watching to see, how does a confident person respond?
Absolutely.
How can I respond? How would I respond? We don't know. Like you said, this is an unprecedented time and situation, and there hasn't been a frame for this. So we're not just teaching them how we handle this moment, but how we handle moments that
New
are
moments.
unprecedented,
Absolutely.
and whether
Yeah.
or not we feel confident moving forward. So that's the first ripple, not to mention all the other great ripples that might happen if you wave to somebody who's in line or thank a teacher or whatever. So I think why we bring it back to that, it's not just that we like talking about this stuff, it's that we do.
We do.
But we know that we can put people over process
For
and
sure.
truly build relationships and connect, which is foundational
Mhm.
if we've practiced and built our confidence. So it's its own cycle. Then once we're confident, we can come back and discover, build relationships and communicate better, practice and build our confidence. It just keeps growing. And man, it lets us engage in life in a really cool way.
It's so
So as
cool.
I have been, I know I kind of feel like I like set our whole like
Oh,
2 hour workshop in like how we're
perfect.
talking.
I know. I love it.
But it makes so much sense here. Okay, how much can we give for like a call to action? What should people do?
Well, I mean, I think that cycle was an amazing call to action and all those words you just said. But I think to summarize it, we kind of talked about it earlier. And it's just, I think, noticing the goodness in yourself and others. Whether you're in the pickup line at, at the end of the school year, or whether you are picking up carry out and there's like a, or you're in traffic, you're at the airport, or you're in a Zoom meeting, or you're in a meeting and your technology is not working and you really want to see people, but you have to turn your video off just to hear. Like, there's so many, you could lay this over, I think, almost any situation. If you're a mom and your kids are wrapping up these last, week or so of school and they're like, ain't doing it. That's a whole new process. So what does that look like? What can you practice? How are you? Are you good and set? And what goodness can you notice? Lay it over anything.
Every single one of us matters.
Yeah,
Sometimes we've had conversations with secondary students who will say, I don't know that I matter. And it's like, man, you cannot help but create ripples. They're happening whether you want to look at them or not.
for
And
sure.
so I think together we create a culture. And when we are more confident as individuals, we're more confident as a culture. And then we can get that gift of being able to be present with each other. It's so cool. So
I
I
love it.
love this conversation, and
Me
uh,
too.
I just have a gut feeling that it's going to hit the right people at the right time. And
I hope
I
so.
hope that if somebody's listening and and this resonated with them, that they'll share it,
Yeah,
because
please do. We
they're
want you guys to let us know how these messages are resonating with you. I love that.
awesome.
People over process. What I wanted to recap what you said, the three kind of, and then I added fun to it. So it was being prepared.
Being prepared.
What was the second one?
Being prepared. We've talked about so much.
I know, but I love
Um,
that. I know we're going to sign off here in a second, but so it was being prepared.
yeah.
Oh, intentional,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
being prepared, being intentional. Was it intentional first and then being prepared?
I'm so confused with my own words.
And
I
then
can like
grace.
feel it
It was
all.
grace, intentionality,
The third one. Grace is the third one.
preparation, and grace.
Oh yeah, intentionality, preparation, grace. Good job. Thank you for helping me figure out
You're
my
welcome.
own.
I feel like because that was in the beginning. So the
Well,
call to
yeah,
action truly is to notice the goodness in yourself and others.
yeah.
But knowing, I wanted to I really do want to respect the process. part of this conversation. And I feel like that was a great way. So intentionality, being prepared, grace, and then having some joy.
So I think I think it's interesting. So you're asking me to recap what I just do. Like the question was like, okay, you have a new situation. What do you do? I've never laid that construct out before, but I'm looking at your face and you're asking me, and I'm wanting to answer the question so well. My phone's blowing up. My 10 o'clock meeting it's already started, which is totally fine. We just talked for longer than we thought we would. And this is why I'm saying it out loud. There's no part of me that doesn't greatly respect all the parts and pieces.
Love
And
that.
how taxing that is for our brains to try to be present for all of that. And so I'm looking at your face, just trying to be present so bad. I'm literally moved my phone out of the way.
And I'm like, we need to respect the process, but I had no idea it was already time for you to go.
No, it's totally fine. Here's the thing though. I just want, what I want to say is, in that third thing that we call grace.
Yeah.
It's not just grace with the process. It's grace with myself.
I love that.
You asked me a really simple question. I can tell you that I'm intentional and that I prepare and that I'm grace-filled and that I love joy. I can tell you that. But if I can't produce that in a really pretty box with a bow on it, it doesn't mean it's not me. And so I think that a big part of this conversation is that if I can't be graceful with myself, it's going to be really hard for me to be graceful with everybody around me.
Ooh.
And so as we're putting people over process, it's also excellence over perfection, and which I know we've already talked about. It's just real life positivity.
That's just what we did just there. Have such a good meeting. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Yes. Bye,
Love
everybody.
you so.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah.